Alrighty, so I figured I'd go ahead and take a video of the inside and the outside of the '89 Jeep Wrangler YJ. So let's go ahead and get the exterior of it here so you can see it pretty good. Then I'll go over a few things that I've done to it and a couple things I may do to it in the future. There's a shot of it from the back. And there it is looking down the other side. Alrighty, here we are on the passenger side here. So what we have here, we got the Best Stop waterproof seat covers, front and rear. I believe that's a Tuffy box. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the lockable metal box there. This here was in it when I bought it. I just rewired it so it's all correct. Got a Sony AM FM CD with an auxiliary plug-in. That's good enough for this. Got a couple Polk audio speakers in the dash here. And we've got the VDP soundbar thingy up here. That all sounds pretty good for the Jeep. Don't need anything more than that. It is wired for a subwoofer and amplifier in the back. It's all pre-wired. It's all there if I ever want to add that. Here's a Uniden 980 SSB I put in there with the little KL203 amplifier, the RM Italy. We're getting about 180 consistent watts out of that. Made up a little bracket and works really well. Fits really well there. Basically, I've just cleaned the interior up real well in this since I got it. When I got it, it was kind of a mess. Put some rubber floor mats in there. Went ahead and added my Garmin GPS lifetime update, so you got to have that. I did buy some new visors, put some new sun visors in there, and just really cleaned everything up real well in here. The heat and the AC both work in here very well, so that's great. I did buy new door panels, put new door panels on it. Got these, what are they, overextension things for the doors so they don't open too far. Just order some of those, put them on there. When I had the door panels off, I went ahead and adjusted the windows, made sure they all work correctly, aligned them up properly, lubricated all the linkage in there for the door handles and all that kind of stuff. So that's all good. You know, just clean the carpets, clean the seats, just really cleaned everything up in here. I think it turned out really well. I'm happy with it. Yep, there's the CB there. Someone's off in the distance. Okay, so here's the rear seat here. It's the matching Best Stop seat cover. It's got the carpet kit in here, and this is the Laredo model, so it came with factory tint in all the windows. Pretty clean back here as well. Floor mats back there. I am going to add some drink holders up here on each side. Do that in the future. I'm going to build something for that. Okay, here's the driver's side, pretty much just what you saw on the other side. Of course, new door panel over here too. Okay, so here's the rear of it, all opened up. I did decide to keep the factory bumperettes. I'm keeping those on there. I think they're cool. Here's the view from the back. Here's some things I keep in here. This got some extra oil. Got a brand new mechanical fuel pump, just in case I ever need it one day. Got miscellaneous wrenches and sockets, and more tools in my little box down there. I've got a jump pack here, a lithium-ion jump pack. Of course, scraper for the snow in the winter. Miscellaneous items in here, wire, fuses, couple straps, ratchet straps, all that kind of stuff. I picked this light up here at the Goodwill. Halogen light. The red cover does come off, so you can just have white. Just plugs in the cigarette lighter. I got my 12-volt air compressor, so I can air up the tires. And a proper set of jumper cables. A big, long, thick set of jumper cables. And I also have, in addition to the new fuel pump, I also have a shoot. It's in here, I don't know, something else. Anyways, I'm buying new parts that are inexpensive, just things that might go out, like if we're out in the desert exploring, a mechanical fuel pump being one. An extra ignition module. I have some 5/16 and 1/4-inch fuel line, some hose clamps, other things like that. Just things that might get you out of trouble. Oh, and I also have my extendable lug wrench in here. It extends. Here's the sockets for it right here. That way I can get my wheels off and change those. But there's the inside there. There's the back door cover and everything. It's got a hitch on it and a plug in there. Okay, so here's a CB antenna mount bracket I added. It goes behind the tail light there. It's got a 4-foot fire stick on it, and I went ahead and added this quick connect here, so we can just get it off if we're pulling in the garage or somewhere we're going to hit. Throw it in the Jeep, come back out, stick it right back on there, just like so. Push down, turn, lock back on there. It's got a full-size spare tire on it, so all the aftermarket wheels match. I did put some brand new tires on it. Some Cooper Discoverer AT3s. I just decided to go with the 235 75 15. It did have the 30 by 9.5 by 15s on there, but they were a little close to the fender wells, and I don't really need that size. I just put these back on it, and happy with them. They got a good, semi-aggressive tread. They're good for mild stuff off-road trails, and great for the highway or whatnot. We have these American racing wheels on it. I'll show you a couple more things here in a second. Okay, so of course with the paint, when I got it, it was heavily oxidized. I went ahead and buffed it out. It took me quite a while to get it this shiny, but I got it looking pretty good. It's the Laredo model, so it has the stainless steel grille cover here. It's got the chrome headlight bezels. I'm still determining whether or not I'm going to leave these chrome or I'm going to plasti dip them like a satin black, like a matte black. We'll figure that out. Just went ahead and painted that with a paint pen, the Jeep on there. What the heck, right? Give it a little cooler look. It had these lights on it when I bought it. I don't believe they're factory lights, but they are factory wiring, so it did have factory lights on it. I wanted to keep these, so I just bought new bulbs for them, new halogen bulbs for them. I kind of like the look, they fit this vintage of Jeep. If I were to put LEDs on there or something, it just wouldn't have matched. And the headlights actually work pretty good. It's got the Sylvania halogens in there. They're plenty adequate. They work great. Does have air conditioning, so there's a AC condenser. It all works. Now this bumper here is off of a TJ, the next generation after this. It had a nice stainless steel thick bumper on here, the factory one, but it had got hit here and it was bent pretty good. There wasn't any fixing it, and I was able to pick this TJ bumper up for free, and I just sanded it down and repainted it with Rustoleum truck bed coating in a can. Of course, I took the little bumper things off and modified them to fit around the tow hooks because I wanted the tow hooks back on there. Took the end pieces off, sanded them all down, painted them, put it all back together. I think it works really well on here. I did have to elongate the holes a little bit to accommodate the bolts on the top and the bottom, but not too bad, and I think it looks really well on it now. Let's see. Yeah, I got some new emblems there to put on, or decals, which I did. I ordered new Wrangler ones for here, but they got lost in the mail, so I'll have to get some other ones ordered up for that. Once again, being the Laredo model, it's got the full steps there. I really don't know if I care for that or not. I think I would rather just have the regular ones and put some bars or something on the side. But being they're there, I'm not going to take them off. I mean, they're reinforced with metal. They're not going anywhere. I can put my full weight on it. So I did go ahead and repaint the top because the top was faded. You start to see some of the white fiberglass under it. So I repainted that. I just taped everything off and used Rustoleum matte black in a can. Used a few cans on it. Turned out real nice. At least I think it did. All stock suspension, you know. Obviously it hasn't been raised or anything. That's one thing I'm on the fence about. I would like to put a 2-inch lift on it, but I don't really think it's necessary for what I'm going to be doing with it. I mean, it's got a good amount of ground clearance, just factory the way it is, really. I think it'll be fine. We just use it for off-road trails and, you know, maybe going up, you know, stuff you couldn't get to in a 2-wheel drive. I just want to use it to get up to some old mines and mills and, you know, old ghost towns and cabins up in the mountains. I think this will be fine. Of course, being factory, it's got the Dana 30 up front, Dana 35 in the rear. I've changed gear oil in both of them. I've changed the differential fluid. I've changed the transmission gear oil. This does have the 5-speed. Changed the engine oil filter. Changed all the fluids on the whole thing. But anyway, being factory, of course, it does have open diffs front and rear. And the one thing I am considering, depending on if I have any trouble or not, I may put a limited slip in the rear. Because I know in my Expedition, even though it's a 2-wheel drive, it has the limited slip rear end, and that thing has helped out tremendously over the years, getting places I wouldn't have been able to get if it didn't have it. So this having a limited slip in the rear is going to help me tremendously. So we'll see if I need that. I'll go ahead and I also put a new windshield in it. The other one had a lot of rock chips, so I got a new windshield in there. I'll go ahead and show you under the hood real quick. Okay, so here's under the hood of this 30-year-old ancient dinosaur. It has a 4.2 liter, 258, inline 6, carbureted, of course. It has a factory Carter BBD carburetor on it. It's got the serpentine belt, factory AC. Still has the factory distributor, ignition, no modifications on that. It does have a larger battery. I took the 550 amp factory battery out because that thing was just way too tiny. I put a 850 cranking amp battery in it. This is a Group 65, same battery that is used in my Ford Expedition and Ford Explorer, and I knew I could make it fit, so I just bought it and modified it a little bit, made it fit in there. So I've got a lot more battery in there now. upgraded some of the wiring, you know, put some new terminals on it, and it's bolted down, so it's solid. It's not going anywhere. We got the factory jack here. You know, everything's pretty nice and clean under here. All the factory California emissions is 100% intact. No wiring has been cut or hacked anywhere. Has a newer radiator. See the EGR valve still on it. The stepper motor. Yeah, everything is all hooked up and functioning and good under here. So, even has the factory insulation on the hood. So, that's under the hood. I mean, all stock engine. Just did that little battery mod, and that's pretty much the only thing under here. Of course, we have a new fuel filter on it, and you know, stuff like that, maintenance items. And it does have this aftermarket or dealer installed or something hood lock here. Push it in, locks the hood, so now you can't open it. You got to put the barrel key in there to unlock it. So here's the underneath of it here. Pretty much all factory under there. No rust, real clean. At least for 30 years old, I think it is. Okay, here's the passenger side here. Pretty nice and rust-free under there. Alrighty, here we go. Here's the driver's side underneath. Went ahead and greased up all the U-joints and all the Zerk fittings everywhere on it. Exhaust is all factory, except it has a newer catalytic converter and a Flowmaster muffler on it. And then here's the rear of it. I don't know how much you can see, but there's underneath the rear there.